Yes.
Can start the meeting.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 19, 2020 annual meeting of the Bella Vista Property Owners Association. And at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if you will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, I would appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic which it stands.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation,
indivisible, liberty and
justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce the present board members. I'm Ruth Hatcher, I'm chairperson. David Brandenburg is vice chair. Mary Sinkus, Tia Bidwell, Jim Abrahamson, David Gatchett, Jerry Hover, and Jerry Barron Jr. I would like to have a motion to approve the 2019 annual meeting minutes.
Annual meeting minutes.
Thank you, Tia. Can I have a second? Thank you. All those say yay?
Aye.
Okay.
Yay.
Any nays?
Yay.
Okay, there are no nays. Passed. Thank you very much.
I'm Tom Throne. I'm chairman of the election committee for the POA, and I want to announce the results of the 2020 board election. But first, I need to introduce our committee members, Bob Rischel and James Miller, who are here present on the Zoom meeting, and Ann Dalkey, who is unable to attend. The results were 33% participation. Joy Sawyer, 5,285 votes. John Goodman with 5,105 votes. Janice Sims with 5,697. Sandy Fosdick with 6,258 votes. David Brandenburg with 6,050. And John Hudick at 5,415. We're declaring the winners of Janice Sims, Sandy Fosdick, and David Brandenburg for the board.
We would like to congratulate each of those and thank all of those who went ahead and filed papers. We appreciate your participation.
Good evening. I'm going to make a presentation regarding the financials for 2019. We have a management report. First of all, regarding the 2020 plan, activity cards as of the end of April 30th, we had sold 852 additional activity cards compared to prior year. This is a 17% increase, which is really impressive. Boat registrations are up by 114. I can tell you this, going back to the activity cards, we are registering quite a number. We registered over 100 yesterday as people are getting ready to for the pools to open. The impact of COVID-19, it's still too early to really determine the full extent. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID and so forth. But through the end of April, preliminary numbers look very good. While the revenue has been negatively impacted, the management team has made significant cuts, which has resulted in us right now performing better than budget. But I caution everybody that we just don't know what's going to be happening in the coming months as a result of COVID. But right now, the results are good that our management team has reacted rapidly and has taken care of potential problems. Okay, next we're going to present the financial reports. This is the 2019 audited financial statements. First of all, the information for today's report was from the audited financial statements. The board will consider the audited financials and consider approving them at the May 28th meeting, which will be at 6 p.m. This meeting will be conducted via Zoom, just like we are doing it right now. Once the audited reports have been approved by the board of directors, they will get posted to the POA's website. Also, the audit committee has gone through the audited financials and has already approved them. Here's the balance sheet, and we're going to give you, here's a graph that shows you how things look compared to prior year. And you'll see that the black is 2018, and the burnt orange, I guess that would you call it, is 2019. And you'll see that I'm going to go into specifics for each one. I'm sorry, I jumped too quick. You can see for current assets, it is we are down by $440,000. $300,000 of that is use of cash for projects. $200,000 on lot inventory reduction, but receivables were to the better by $60,000. Investments are down by $1.3 million, with all that money used to put out the Trafalgar fire. Property, plant, and equipment decreased by $3.4 million. There were fewer capital projects in 2019 versus 2018. Plus, we had the sale of Arkmo land in 2019. Other assets increased by $990,000. There is a new FASB guideline that requires a different type of accounting for operating leases. When you see the financial report, you'll be able to go through that in much more detail. And total assets decreased by $4.1 million. And as we've discussed previously, we have $440,000 from current assets, 1.3 from investments, 3.4 from property, plant, and equipment, and a $990,000 increase for other assets. Here's the liability and members' equity portion. You'll see that current assets, current liabilities decreased by $1.3 million. We had the decrease of 1.7, which is the Trafalgar fire liability decrease. Current portion operating leases. This is once again that new FASB guideline, and that had an increase of $540,000. And prepaid fees and assessments decreased by $280,000. Long-term bonds decreased by $500,000 as the water bond was paid off, or partially paid off for the year. I mean, we made our annual contribution, which reduced our total liability. Operating leases increased by $449,000. Members' equity decreased by $2.8 million. That was a net loss. And total liabilities decreased by $4.1 million, with current liabilities decreasing $1.3 million. Long-term bond payable decreased by $500,000. Operating lease liability increased by $450,000, and members' equity decreased by $2.8 million. All right, now we're going to take a look at the income statement. See that revenue increased. We are now at $27.8 million compared to 2018, which was $26 million. Revenue year over year, we had the cell tower sale, which was quite a large amount. Food and beverage increased by $400,000, with BV contributing the majority of that. Gain on sale of assets, the Arkmo land was $350,000. Member assessments increased by $195,000. That was from assessments, transfer fees, and collection efforts. Golf fees decreased by $155,000. Water decreased as a result of water usage or less water usage by $217,000. And you'll see we're now on to expenses. So expenses for 2019 was $30.5 million compared to $29.5 million for 2018. And here's the detail regarding this, is we had an increase in small tools of $363,000. That was pretty much across all divisions. We had a $380,000 savings in wages across all divisions. Employee benefits, $187,000 was to the better. Repair and maintenance, $140,000. Service contract. This was meter replacements to the negative of $120,000. Assessment elections, we had 2. That's 80. Depreciation, $395,000. Environmental expense, which was the Trafalgar fire, $1.3 million. And you'll see that the net loss was $2.8 million for the year. And for 2018, it was negative 3.5. Both of those numbers heavily impacted by the Trafalgar fire and the $4 million in expenses tied to that. Key capital projects that were completed in 19, the water billing software upgrade, the new trap field, which is ADA compliant. And I'm going to hand it back to our speaker, Ruth Hatcher.
I'd like to give notice of the 55th annual meeting on May 18th of 2021. So I'm planning ahead, put that on your calendar so you're ready for it. And the board of directors would certainly like to acknowledge the time and commitment of our committee members and the community volunteers, which make Bella Vista a very special place. Without all the people working behind the scenes and trying to better Bella Vista, we wouldn't have nearly what we have today, and we really appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Ruth, I'm going to jump in and take over for right now for just a moment.
Please do.
We would like to recognize Jim Abrahamson. He served on the board for 3 years. Prior to that, he was a member of the golf committee for a number of years, and he has 27 years of experience with Cooper Communities, was the staff liaison with the POA for many of those years, and has been a resident of Bella Vista since 1974. So on behalf of the board and on behalf of the management team, we really thank Jim for his many years of service to Bella Vista. Bella Vista would not be the same without his fantastic contribution. I would also like to recognize Ruth Hatcher. Ruth has served on the board since 2013, so she served 2 terms. She has been the chair for the last 2 years, and prior to that, she was on the golf committee from 2006 through 2013. So has made many years, 14 years of contributions to our community. She was also on the marketing committee from 2011 through 2016. And she definitely has the largest group of volunteers that you can combine because each year she's able to bring together over 200 volunteers. And we really appreciate her efforts. Going back to Jim, we have a nice clock that we have purchased for him. And for Ruth, I was notified by the Trailblazers that they are going to name one of the trails after you.
Well, that's wonderful. I really appreciate that.
I thought that's pretty special. So I'm turning it back to you, Ruth.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we have open forum, and Tammy, the corporate secretary, I don't have any. Tammy, do you?
There was nothing sent in, Ruth.
There was nothing sent in. Well, then at this time, I would like to welcome Jan Sims, Sandy Fostick, David Brandenburg to the board. It's been a humbling experience for me, and I'm sure Jim would say the same thing. And we appreciate everything everybody's done for the rest of the board. They've worked very hard. And if there's no other business, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Adjourn.